Hi. Um, I've sat down and looked at this my last videos a few times, and it's quite distracting, this background, so I'll sort that out at some point in time. I think I never expected to carry on doing YouTube. In fact, I said to Jane the other day I've got to interview two people in Glencoe, and she said, "Oh, you're back doing that again." So very interesting. My future's not shaped by doing podcasts and YouTubes, and I don't want it to be. And been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of stuff lately, but let's get to the beginning. Today, so we're on a Saturday. Saturday today, I walked Jake this morning. I got up at 6 o'clock. Remember, I don't work anymore, but I got up at 6 o'clock. I then took Jake for a walk for an hour and a half. Good time for me to listen to audio books and just get out in the fresh air and connect with nature a little bit. Luckily, I got out and got that all done before the rain, and then I came back and did an hour session of yoga at a local place, in fact over the road out my window here. So I've done that, refreshed myself, come back, had a nice cup of coffee and got myself sat down here. I wanted to get some more structure into these, and I'm going to try and do that in the future. This is just to let you know what's coming up. I spoke to you in my last video about a couple of people I'm going to speak to, and I just thought of someone else I might speak to as well, and I might even hopefully be able to box off a couple more interviews while I'm in Glencoe. We shall see how it goes, and I'll speak to people and see if they're interested. So that might be 2 or 3, 4 interviews after I've been to Glencoe. So the next few weeks I'm getting ready to go to Glencoe. It's probably the last trip we're going to do. There's a lot of people dropped out, which is a bit of a shame because I really look forward to reconnecting with them in Glencoe. But due to COVID and everything else and other commitments, etc., people have dropped out, and that's quite a shame, as I say. Anyway, the last few weeks and over the last couple of years since I've retired, I've been reading more and more books. Some of them have been suggested to me by Matt Walkley, some by Lee Glasgow, some by other friends. And they're more about life, ourself, our mental health, spirituality and stuff like that. It doesn't matter what your feelings are about all those things. Mine are probably the same as yours, but I have more time in my life to look at and explore that. One of the books I've been looking at recently, or read recently, which is extremely inspirational, and don't worry, I'll put all these in the comments below the video, is You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. He had a horrific childhood, and to be honest with you, so did I. So it's very interesting to read this book and learn some things about myself. I don't confess to be anything like this guy. His ultra running is absolutely amazing. I suggest this is a really, really good book to read. It is a little bit difficult in the beginning. It improves in the middle, and after he leaves the Navy SEALs, it's extremely interesting after that, what he achieves in life, and there's a little bit of a twist at the end, which is quite good. I've just read Soul for Happy, Mo Gawdat. As I say, I'll put it in the bottom. A very, very, very interesting look at life and death, because his son died, and that's why he wrote the book. From a guy that was the head of Google X, and the way he looks at life. At the moment, I've just finished Fern Cotton's book, Bigger Than Us, which is very interesting. And I've just started Digital Declutter, which I'll come on to a little bit later in this video. I'm going to interview Lee Glasgow, Terry Irwin, and hopefully Claire Armstrong, and a few other people, hopefully in Glencoe, which will remain a secret at the moment, and hopefully bring them into the videos in the future. I'm going to steal something from a diary of a CEO, and at the end of each video I'm going to get them to write a question without knowing who the next guest is for the next guest. And I know that's a bit of a steal from the diary of the CEO, but I think it's a really good idea, and it's a good way of getting a question across that I'm not even going to read until I answer it. There is a downside, because I just watched the end of Diary of a CEO recently, and he actually asked a question, what was the question, and that could happen, but that's the nature of the beast. But I do like the idea, and I don't think it's wrong of us to take other people's ideas, as long as we're not using them as our own, then we'll be fine. I left Twitter a little while ago. Twitter pumps us full of negativity all the time. I was quite shocked about how much it gets negative. I had another account, and I went on that account and I tried to make Twitter positive. I tried to make it all about art, creativity, etc, 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 and I tried to alter all the settings to make it really positive. And for 3 months roughly, I was getting positive pictures, I was getting positive feedback, I was getting positivity, and then it switched. And Twitter then started with their algorithms feeding me negativity. It works out what I was looking at, and it worked out how it could trigger me, give me a negative effect to make me look and think, oh, why is that like that? Or why is that like that? It's a relative what it's about, but let's call it parking or traffic or something. I mean, I go out for a walk every day, and every day I nearly get hit by a car. That's a fact, right? And so I ended up on talks and chats on Twitter that were regarding people's driving, the way people drive these days, the way people park on pavements, and how annoying it is. And then every time I was going out, I was still nearly getting hit by a car. I was finding I was trying to walk around cars on pavements. There's been a car parked on a pavement up the road from me, actually in the middle of the pavement now, for 3 weeks. Police couldn't care less. No one could care less. This morning I saw someone put a sticker on the windscreen that says, "You park like a cunt." Yeah, he did. And Ricky Gervais's film Afterlife a little while ago, where he throws a cactus through a window of a car that goes over a zebra crossing. That's just life. It's the way it is. But the negative feedback from Twitter is horrendous. I'd go out for a walk, see a car on the pavement, take a picture of the car on the pavement, post it on Twitter. Then you end up talking about it all day. It's ridiculous. So as I say, I came off Twitter a while ago and wrote a blog about it. Then I went back on hoping that it would be positive. It wasn't. It was completely negative. And my brain just get drawn into all this negative shit day in, day out on Twitter. I was then finding myself, we just went away on holiday. It was quite windy. I went to the lakes for 2 weeks, and we've had 2 weeks of like 50-mile-an-hour winds. And luckily we had some actual calm periods of time as well. But Jane and I found ourselves back in the camper, and I spent an inordinate amount of time on Twitter again when I wanted to do painting. And I didn't do any painting while we were on holiday. I didn't find any time for painting. And I do believe it's because I was drawn back into the addiction of Twitter. So I've come off Twitter again, which has freed up some more time for reading books, freed up some more time for a little bit more walking. Instead of rushing my walks, I take longer on my walks. So yeah, off Twitter. Good. And that's given me an idea about digital decluttering. And ironically, I'm sitting here talking to you, making a video for YouTube, but I'm trying to digital declutter my life, which I have done over the last 3 years anyway. So I'm just reading a book by Cal Newport, which I obviously put in below this as well, which is on digital decluttering. How far I'll go, I don't know. The truth of the matter is, and I've said this in videos before, when I was 60, a couple of years' time, I always planned to digitally declutter anyway. I didn't want to be caught up and connected in the modern world. One of the funny things is, it's too easy to text, it's too easy to send a message, it's too easy to do this, it's too easy to do that. We spend our lives online and we don't talk to each other anymore. And I think we disconnect that way when we should be reconnected. The whole of media and social media and everything is geared up to be negative. Most of our thoughts every day are 60% negative. To add into that social media, the news, and like the thing at the moment is, will Russia invade Ukraine? Will the world go into a world war? It's just fear mongering and negativity. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Since then, we've had a storm that smashed up people's houses in the southeast and taken the roof off the dome. The news people didn't doom monger that for 3 weeks before it happened. It just happened. So whatever happens in life happens in life. As I say, I'm going to carry on with these. One of the interesting things for you guys is, photography wise, I'm in the form of digital decluttering as well. I've still got all my Fujifilm cameras, or a big percentage of them. I've still got my little Canon. One of the things that happened when we were in the Lake District, I wanted to go out and use my little Canon G5X to shoot with. And what happened is, because of the extreme wind and rain, as soon as I got it out, I got water all over the lens, and it really annoyed me. So I spent the rest of my time taking photographs with my iPhone. I came back, put them onto Flickr, and suddenly, without even knowing it, within 3 days, I'd got an image onto Explore again. And I thought, do you know what? It's just a waste of time carrying all this gear with you when an iPhone will do. Now, a lot of people will hate that I said that, but at the end of the day, I'm doing a little bit of an experiment at the moment with Matt Walkley. And Matt Walkley's going to do some prints off his iPhone and see how they come out. Now, we reckon you can go A4, maybe A3, but on the other hand, I think I prefer to look at A3 prints. I've got some big prints on my wall here, but when I go to a gallery or an art show, etc., some of the little A4 prints, maybe even A3 prints, I prefer to look at those than some of the bigger stuff. I think they have more meaning in them sometimes, and actually you can print those from an iPhone. Most of the stuff you do online, you can do from an iPhone. The easiest thing to carry with you in your pocket is an iPhone, because you've always got it with you, especially out and about, because I've got my apps on there for walking. And I've got some of my maps on there, as well as I do carry paper maps as well, and a compass, of course I do. But anyway, getting on to Glencoe. We're all going to Glencoe. It's not going to be like before. I'm not teaching anything. It's just a group of people meeting up, having some fun. There are some spaces left. If you want to contact me, I will put an email address below this, and you can contact me if you want to go. It's in a few weeks' time. I'm not going to give the dates out online. You can contact me and I'll give you all the information. There are spaces left because some people have dropped out, and I haven't really had time to go around and say who wants to go. And I haven't even contacted the hotel to see how many rooms are left. But as I say, drop me an email in the email address I'll put below, and I'll give you the information you need. I know there's not many people looking at this. There's only about 60 people looked at the last video, 30 the one before that, this, that and the other. I don't know whether I want it to grow or not, or as Steve Bartlett says, for those that are listening, hi. Everyone that isn't, well, I don't know if you're missing out or not. It's just probably a load of crap, to be honest. But it's just me rambling in front of a camera. But it's quite interesting when I was into photography and I was doing photography, how much you're fed to people look at you, they look at what you're saying about Fujifilm cameras, etc. And as soon as you stop doing that, they all go away. It's very interesting how everyone's connected to gear and wanting to know about gear and wanting to find out more about the next Fujifilm product because I was able to tell them. And then it's amazing how many people drop off from that when they're not interested in that. And I'm starting to talk more about life and things in general, and even as I'm going to talk about photography later on and art. People aren't really interested unless you're famous and you can tell them something. And I was thinking about that the other day, all the great podcasts out there and the amount of famous people that get on there. They get all these thousands and millions of people and millions of views, but they're not always the people with the most interesting things to say. And I'm not saying I am, but I hope to have some people on to talk to about us, how we work, how our mental health works, everything in the future that is interesting. And they may not be the top of their game and the top of their field, but sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes it's best to have someone that's learning, that's enthusiastic, than someone that's making £1 million a year out of it, because people will listen to them. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Either this will grow or it will stay at 60 people. And if it stays at 60 people, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to interview these people in a few more time. I probably won't make one of these before I do that. So the first thing that's going to happen next is there will be an interview online. So thanks for watching today. Take care, look after yourself. See you on the next one.